I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
So the definition. So religious trauma is the physical, emotional, or psychological response to religious beliefs, practices, or structures. So three things: the belief system, the practices, and the structures or the culture that is experienced by an individual as overwhelming or disruptive and has lasting adverse effects on the person's physical, mental, social, emotional, or spiritual well-being. Another way to say that is that religious trauma syndrome refers to the psychological damage that is the result of religious experiences, messages, doctrines, and teachings. So there's three sources I just want to highlight. It can be the people within the religion who abuse you. It can be the teachings that have a negative effect on you, or the culture that is unsafe. Now, we need to make a little distinction as we begin exploring this, and that is between religious trauma and religious abuse. So I think the best way to explain this is that religious abuse is different from religious trauma, but they're connected. So abuse is what happens to us. Trauma is what happens to our nervous system inside of us as a response to the abuse. So the abuse is what others are doing. The trauma is what's happening inside of us. So traditionally, abuse in the context of religious systems was about pastors or clergy that were sexually abusing people, that were physically or emotionally abusing people, or ritualistic abuse. So it was kind of limited to looking at those very obvious aspects of, yes, that is abuse by an authority figure, that is wrong. But what we're beginning to understand is there's more subtle forms of abuse that in many cases have not been understood as abuse up to now. And so a lot of people have shied away from calling them abuse because they're saying, well, that's just part of my religion. And so if I say that that's abuse, people aren't going to believe me. People are going to say I'm making too big a deal out of it. And so there's the shying away of calling it abuse. Secondly, often our culture says, oh, that's not abuse, because they want to.
Boy, we're talking about narcissism in church. Narcissistic abuse. Church hurt. It's real. Listen, can I hit you with something? We've talked about mother wounds, right? What if the church is the ultimate mother wound? No one could ever fathom their mother hurting them. But oftentimes the first hurt we've ever experienced is from our mother. Now, from a spiritual space, the church is the mother spiritually. This is where we go to be nurtured spiritually. This is where we go to be empathized with spiritually, even chided. Even, do you understand? People don't understand the power in the hands of a pastor who has not reconciled his own inner demons. Think of it. Just like when they tell you, when your mother is not attuned to your needs, You develop an insecure attachment style. What happens when the pastor is disconnected from his needs internally and then brings that disjointed energy, spirit, and presence before the parishioners? Is the spiritual mother wound even more devastating than your biological mother wound? I want to know tonight. Are there pastors out there, and be honest, that are fighting one hell of an internal fight silently? But because you went to seminary school, but because you understand hermeneutics, and because you understand apologetics, and because you got the Bible down pat, and you can preach with the best of them, right? You just get up there and it's on autopilot. Do you hear what I'm saying? Have you ever been a part of a divine Ponzi scheme? Lock the doors. Come on, ushers. Lock the doors. I'm not saying Marvin Sapp meant it. I'm not saying Marvin Sapp is a narcissist. I know that there are great churches out there with good people, but I'm asking. The church's neurotic embrace of spiritual narcissism, the cross metastasizes into a trauma bond. Churches weaponize B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning, addicting followers to salvation's intermittent dopamine hits. Oh, I'm going to get a miracle every now and again, but I give every week. I give every Sunday. I'm going to get something in my life that I can say God did, but I'm doing all of this just like that young brother from Brooklyn we're about to get back to. I'm asking you, have you had this type of experience? It's very interesting. fMRI scans prove tithes activate the nucleus accumbens 18% more than cocaine. We read that earlier. Reframing faith as biological extortion. Narcissistic clergy scoring higher in Machiavellianism than CEOs, according to Johansson, 2013. Wait, say that again, Zoe. Yeah, narcissistic clergy scoring higher in Machiavellianism. Now, you know Machiavellianism is one of the dark triads. Sociopath, psychopath, and Machiavellianism. Right? Narcissistic clergy scoring higher in Machiavellianism than CEOs. Jonasson, not Johansson, Jonasson, 2013. Mirror abusive parents. Did you hear what I said? The church is the mother wound. That's the ultimate mother wound. If I go there for nurturing, if I go there for divinely guided prayer, right? And you reinforce my fearful avoidant attachment. You reinforce my dismissive avoidant attachment. You reinforce my anxious, preoccupied attachment. Do you see what's happening? Through your intermittent dopamine hits of approval, acknowledgement, and grace. It's very heavy. God's love dangles like a carrot. Hellfire lashes like a stick. Prosperity gospels, transactional theology. Malachi 3:10 as celestial blackmail. What is this? It extracts $50 billion annually, according to Forbes 2023, while epigenetically methylating generational curses into our DNA. Diaz 2014. Krishnamurti's observer is the observed becomes heresy. To detach risks quantum excommunication. Spiritual abuse isn't collateral damage. It's the business model. Break the trance or remain a tithe serf in God's feudal hallucination. I know you don't want to hear it put that way tonight, but the voice of reason is in here cooking for a reason. Listen, you think you gotta go to therapy alone? Everybody, including the church itself, needs a therapist. Is an angel the church's therapist? Somebody got to come down and heal the church. The church is far from healed, and you know it is, and it's probably better than it was a few years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, but it's still dealing with a lot of issues, and we need to deal with it, right? We can't treat the church the way we treat our mother. Our mother sometimes is beyond reproach, even though she's broken, even though you know she should go to therapy, even though you know she should go see somebody to talk to somebody. You can't convince your mama to do nothing. Mama is beyond reproach. Don't let the church be beyond reproach, right? Alexander from Brooklyn, let me get your final thought.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, I said let me get your final thought, sir.
Oh, my final thoughts, well, yes, this does exist, but I'm here to tell you that those who went through this, similar to what I did, you just got to go within and find God. There's help. There's help. This is just a part of the story, because you will come out on the other side, and once you give yourself to that inner power, it will show up in your life, and all that will be just a distant memory. It'll hurt still, but you'll get past it. I did.
Yeah. Man, let me just say this, brother. Man, I appreciate you just being open and honest and transparent. Like, you went through a lot, and you've gained a lot from what you've been through. I can hear it. I hear the wisdom in your words, brother. And to me, that's an indication of God, because you went through hell and you came out wiser and better, and you're getting better. And you had the strength and the courage to get on the phone and share that. You don't know how you're an instrument of God right now, being used to touch somebody's life right now. And there were no tithes involved. There was no, you understand, you were the tithe. You gave of yourself, brother. And I appreciate you.
That's all that matters to me.
Thank you, brother.
I had a call.
Thank you. Guess what you just did, man?
Yes, sir.
Guess what you just did?
What'd I do?
You brought Brooklyn, New York in the building. Yeah!
Thank you, brother. So, I'll get off the phone.
Yes, sir. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580, man. He was on fire. I loved it. Let's get to Blaze, Pittsburgh, PA. Blaze, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Oh, man, I have first of all, man, I appreciate you providing me the opportunity to, have this conversation with you. A very close and dedicated listener.
Thank you.
Sent me this shout out to Ogun's son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sent me this. He texted me. He knew that this is something that I value very deeply. Just based off my personal journey. Now, first I want to address, you noticed something I said in the chat about, the whole like you were trying to throw this broad blanket on the church.
You interpreted it as such.
I have to backtrack some.
Okay.
I have to backtrack because you were, kind of like, I think what triggered me was when you had said, I would have respected if he was honest about, need the money for this. You know how churches are, they're, nonprofit, 401, whatever, the terminology that is used because that's how a church is ran. And if they needed the money, then just say that. Now there's some, and it's like, damn, you making it like, the whole church thing is just a business.
Well,
go ahead.
Let me just say, let me just give you some clarifiers. Marvin Sapp did say exactly what I said. which is this is
but Marvin Sapp is not a.
Hold on.
Okay.
He said exactly what I said, which is this money is to run this. This is a business. This is an operation. And most church, most if not all, are 501c3, which classifies them as nonprofits. This is why they take tithes. This is why they take donations. This is why they take the money to run the facility. He literally said that. What I said was most pastors should do what Marvin does and say that. I said, now the difference between Marvin and, say, Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, what's her name, Miss White? Is that her name? Somebody tell me this is. I said her name before. She is the spiritual goddaughter of T.D. Jakes. She said she asked for the same amount of money as Marvin Sapp. Paula White. She asked for the same amount of money as Marvin Sapp. Marvin Sapp said, this is to run this facility. He got on Ricky Smiley. He gave even further context by saying, 1, that wasn't my personal church. 2, that was a year ago. 3, that was a huge conference, and I was raising the money to keep that conference going for that conference. Wasn't for my church. Do you see? Now, he told us what that money was being raised for. He gave us the context. Paula White said, give me $1,000 in order to open up 7 supernatural gifts from God. Now, many people believe in this type of tithing. If you give, God will bless you. Many people frown on that because they say, oh, that's prosperity teachings. And prosperity teachings wasn't in the Bible. Jesus himself was poor. Jesus himself he was broke. So you understand what I'm saying? That's the difference. I think you misinterpreted what I was saying because you might have felt I was attacking it, but I wasn't. You understand?
Yeah. I was trying to get with you, but I can't say all that said and all that be done is that I think I'm more so on board with you because being a member of, and I don't like to get too into denominations, but I do attend a Baptist church.
Come on, man. I'm from Chattanooga. Come on. I've been to the Baptist church. I know what it is, brother. It's part of us. And prayers to the last brother, the church hurt that he experienced, that a lot of people experience, and I will keep him in my prayers. But I think there was this one thing that I felt like he was missing, and he was holding another human being up on a pedestal, and he wasn't leaning more. Wait, stay right there. Don't go nowhere, Blaze, because you're cooking, and I want to get your full thought. When we come forward, back to Pittsburgh, he's cooking.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting, on Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominic DePrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up, and we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 Days and Counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. This is a community call to action, brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces. No, lying to the races. Help me. Come on. Somebody help me now. I'll take you there. Help me, y'all. I'll take you there. Help me now. I'll take you there. I'll take you there.
I had a situation where there was a lot of talk about me in church. In other words, I had made a decision that some other people felt differently about, and it wasn't anything about right or wrong or against the Word of God. It was just a decision that people, a small group of people, disagreed with.
Right.
And so it became a much bigger deal than it should have been, and it became a point of hurt for me.
Right.
Part of my question for you, or such a great thing to talk about, is how do we deal with something like that so that I don't take it to heart so much, I let God heal me, and that people who are in that situation know how to handle it differently when it's coming their way?
Well, I do think that the first thing is your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just don't even go into a situation expecting to never be hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't get married and expect to never be hurt.
Come
on. You can't get involved in a group of people and expect to never, ever get hurt. But we have to keep in mind that we very possibly may be hurting other people from time to time and
absolutely
and don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And if you realize that church people are still people, you got to amplify the people part, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're there, but they're still people, and there's jealousies. There's, you know, one of the things that I got really hurt over was caused by a girl that really, in essence, wanted my job. Mm. I taught the women's meeting at the church, and it was a good-sized meeting. It was several hundred people, and all this talk started about me, and people decided that I was this, that, and something else. And it's amazing the trouble that one or two people can cause, especially if they don't recognize when Satan is putting things in their head.
That's very true.
And
man, Joyce. Woo! Hey, that was a bar. That was a bizarre, is what I was going to say. Wow, she dropped a bar. But in listening to her, a topic came up, and it might be tomorrow's topic. If you can't weather the pain I'm inevitably going to bring to you, we're not meant to be together. If I can't weather the pain that you're inevitably going to bring to me, then we're not meant to be together. You heard what she said. People who get married, there's going to be pain. See, we'll leave somebody who causes us pain, but then pick someone and stay with them and weather that pain. Pain is part of the process of being in love, ain't it? Can you stand the pain? That's how you know you're not worth nothing to them. And I'm making a distinction between pain and abuse. Do you understand? Oh, beautiful stuff tonight. We on fire. Let's keep cooking. Blaze, let me get your final thought, good brother.
Final thought. Oh, man.
I'll
just say that this.
Go ahead.
I thought you cut me off in the middle. I ain't even get my opening intro in, but I'll just land it here.
Okay, Andy said we could hold you for a second. It's just that we jam packed with callers, so I'm gonna need you to make it quick.
I don't expect to ramble on too long, but
right.
I'll just land it here.
You got a little time. Come on, you got a little time. Let's go.
When it comes to the tithing and offering, which are two different things, but when it comes particularly to the tithing, one thing when it comes down to that, like you said, it's good when a pastor is going to be transparent. When they having properties that's maybe owned through the church, and how it's going to be sold, where's the money going to, how it's going to be distributed, if you're going to be donating things, doing things for the community or whatever. It is always good for a pastor to be transparent like that. Right. I do not agree with the way the brother Sapp went about that. The whole shutting the doors and doing all of that, and it was too performative, and I see why he tried to apologize, even though he was still trying to find a backdoor escape route psychologically by saying, well, the doors wasn't locked, they could have left when they wanted. But it's like your actions when it comes to tithing correctly and how you're presenting that to your congregation was incorrect on an extreme level. Consider to the book. Consider to the Bible. So when it comes to believers, the people who are directed by the book, he deserves the scrutiny that he is getting.
Okay. All
because
right.
Because, I know there's a scripture, and, when all the people of wealth are giving their money and whatever, and then there was one poor lady who dropped in 2 copper coins, and how Jesus, went on and all that about how she gave more than anybody else.
Blaze, hold tight, because you just rolling. You ain't got no breaks. Hold tight. Well, I got to come for it. When I come full circle, I'm going to get your final thought for real.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. is being removed this week. Crews are painting over the street mural and taking down signs. Black Mayor Muriel Bowser says the change is partly due to White House pressure and plans for America's 250th birthday next year. A judge has ruled that former Decatur officer Mac Marquette must stand trial for the 2023 killing of a black man, Stephen Perkins. The Alabama murder trial is set for June 9th. Black Atlanta Congresswoman Nikema Williams is stepping down as chair of Georgia's Democratic Party after it became a full-time paid role. While in the position, she served as an unpaid volunteer. The vice chair will lead for now. An ousted Black Washington, D.C. Councilmember Trayon White is running to reclaim his Ward 8 seat after being removed in February over conduct violations and a bribery indictment. He shared his re-election filing online. Over 24 candidates have filed so far. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Yeah, yo, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
The Eaton Canyon fire devastated many black families in Altadena, taking more than just homes. It took memories, legacies, and generational wealth. The heart of a black community is now in jeopardy, but Justice Coalition, led by Gage and King LA Lawyers for the People, are here to help. If you've lost your home, we are standing by to hold insurance companies and utilities accountable for the damage caused. When the community suffers, we all suffer. Together, we can rebuild what was lost. Your recovery starts today. Call 626-429-1259. That's 626-429-1259. Or visit www.eatonfirelawyers.net. Justice Coalition, Gage and King, LA Lawyers for the People. We got you. Call 626-429-1259. Visit www.eatonfirelawyers.net. Again, 626-429-1259. This is attorney advertising. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Legal representation is provided by licensed attorneys.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wager bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I just want to take time to tell you a story about a man called Shouting John. John joined a dead church. They didn't believe in shouting. They didn't believe in dancing and speaking in tongues. But when they opened the doors of the church, John joined that church. And when John joined that church, he came in dancing. Everybody got disturbed because John was dancing all around the church. The deacons ran, sat him down, he jumped back up. They tried to hold his legs, his hands were going. When they turned their hands are loose, the feet were going.
Your guru will never tell you to understand yourself. Why? Because if you understand yourself, you will never follow them. Your guru will never tell you to read Krishnamurti. Because if you read him, you will never listen your guru. As Krishnamurti talks about understanding yourself and knowing yourself, if your guru talks to you about that, you will be higher than your guru. You will become yourself a guru. Guru really means to show the door. The door which will be opened by you to find out truth. And truth is so simple, something really simple, which is part of our daily life, and the guru will never tell you that. He will bullshit you all your life because he needs followers to do his business. Because being...
Oh, gosh. Oh, more Krishnamurti. I guess that was a follower or something? I don't know. He tried his best. Let me get my brother Blaze back in here to get his final thought. Blaze from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Blaze, this is your real final thought. Now, you ready?
This
okay.
This is my real final thought because we can't really get into this conversation for real. So my final thought, and I'm gonna land with this. Beware of a pastor with a serpent tongue. Don't hold on to church hurt. Look at it as a way of God showing you to just move on. And find you a place where you're able to give, knowing that you're not looking to throw money into a wishing jar, treating God like a genie, but you know that you're giving tithes, to give a piece of yourself to serve God, to do good, and to live by the doctrine. Man, thank you, Brother Zoe. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak.
Yes,
I ain't
sir.
going to tab the line. Power to you, man.
Thank you,
Respect.
brother. Pittsburgh, PA is in the building because of you. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Get to it right now. We got Nzinga from Pensacola, Florida on the line. And then, of course, Pastor John going to give us a good word. Talk to me, Nzinga.
Hey, good evening, y'all.
Yes.
So when I hear this, I thought about two words: taught versus belief. I think we're taught we're born in sin. So I think from birth there's like this default separation from God a little bit because of what we're taught, not because of what we believe yet. Because I think what you believe, that's a search, that's your own journey. So like I said, there's like a default separation. So for many of us, I think we do things to please God and to get into his good graces. We kind of spend a lot of time doing that. And I think maybe that's where that religious narcissism may stem from. Because I feel like, well, in the past, me too, you seek what's in his hand and not his face.
Keep going. I'm listening.
I think a little cognitive dissonance has to happen. I know that a lot of times we hear that word is kind of weaponized to be an insult or a slight, but I think cognitive dissonance has to happen to bring you from enlightenment to enlightenment. You have to begin to kind of question things and search them for yourself. And then once you kind of search for your own answers, you begin to adopt belief and have an authentic relationship with God. Because I think up until then, it's a third-party situation. It's like three friends. Most of the time, it's your mom or your granny. And they kind of introduce you to God. You don't really, know him. So you kind of have to break off from that of what you've been taught, what you've always known, to kind of build your own belief and form that authentic relationship with God. And maybe maybe it can be a cure for the religious narcissism that we see a lot. That, I've probably been guilty of it too.
No, I love this. I love this. This was some great insight, and I love hearing your voice. You got to call in more often, Nzinga. Now, guess what you just did?
I brought Pensacola in the building.
Pensacola, Florida is in the house. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. We're having a hell of a conversation. All of this deeper, more nuanced, broader discussion brought to us by Marvin Sapp. At the very least, all he did was speak too overzealously to get people to support. But what it did was it triggered a larger discussion. And I think it's a discussion that should be had. Andy said I should do a series on it. Let me get my brother in here. You already know. Pastor John, Mountain View, Hawaii. Pastor John, what are your thoughts, sir, on tonight's topic?
Greetings and blessings, chat. Greetings to you, Zoe.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully everyone is blessed by hearing the words that have been spoken, but let's poke jokes at it.
Here we go.
Oh, you didn't know Pastor was a thug?
Hey, I know you a thug, and I'm waiting for you to thug it out. Let's go. I'm with you. You got the floor.
No. You didn't know Pastor was a thug.
You talking about Mr.
Let me
Sapp.
say this. let me say this.
Say it,
Everybody's got a story.
Yes, sir.
Everybody has a story, including the pastors, bishops, ministers, elders, deacons, evangelists, and everyone else, even the first lady, all got passed. That's the reason why they're in the church.
Keep going. I'm listening.
People would like to call it most people would like to call it a hospital, but in most cases, it's just a hangout for you to be this debaucherous as you was before you started.
Wow. This is heavy. But let me ask you this. Do you think Marvin Sapp, Pastor Marvin Sapp, went too far in his urging of his parishioners or the parishioners that were before him to raise $40,000? Do you think he went too far by asking the ushers to shut the door? Now, he made the distinction between shutting the door and locking the door. Do you think we're overreacting?
Did we overreact when Creflo Dollar was asking for his church to pay for a jet?
Hey, it's only $68 million.
Did we act a fool when we found out that one of the other churches had a ring of prostitution, men and women?
Ooh, here we go. Keep going. There's more names. Come on.
Did we get on the pastor that did not give help to the city of Texas when the floods came? Oh, you can't come in this church.
Oh, you know who that is? You know exactly who that is. Say his name. I dare you.
let me remind you. We're people.
Mm-hmm.
We're people.
Yes.
And everyone in their life is going to make that quote unquote problem, mistake, issue. Somebody else magnifies it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've stated this one time before on this show, and I'll say it again with a little bit more emphasis and a little bit more added. Life is like a dance. in order to keep in step, you got to let the music play.
Interesting.
To keep up with the rhythm, sometimes you will step backwards. But this is your journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
So who's judging? Do you care? Really? Come on.
Everybody
Let it
cares.
go.
You know people care. But guess what you just did, my good brother? You know I love to hear your words of wisdom, man. Guess what you just did?
Mountain View's in the house. Blessings to all. Love you too, big bro.
Mountain View is in the house. Listen, I'm about to go forward. But when I come full circle, I'm going to go ham and eggs. I got things to say. Let's get it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Church people say they are in this holy way. There are strange things happening every day. On that last great judgment day, when they drive them all away, there are strange things happening every day. every day, every day, every day, every day. There are strange things happening every day, every day, every day, every day.
Yes, my playlist is my co-host, the voice of reason, has returned. I wanted to do a mix of old and new gospel. Let me just say, we are a spiritual people, and we can never be disconnected from God. That connection can fall out of our attention. We can lose sight of that connection. But we can never be disconnected. There is, you have to understand, by definition of what you say God is infinite. If God is infinite, then God is all of you, which implies disconnection as an impossibility. Right? There's no space in that which is infinite where there is a disconnect and a space that's separate. Well, God is this and then I'm that. No. It's your egoic ignorance that causes you to lose sight of what has always been you. Listen to this next word. Essentially. Do you understand? Yes, there are some talented preachers, charismatics, articulate, theologians, well-educated. One of my favorites was Jeremiah Wright. My son went to Fresno State. Jeremiah Wright did a lecture at Fresno State. Jeremiah was fire. Do you understand me? He was so fire, the fire was too hot for Obama. He said, let me step away from this fire. This is a whole different, it's a whole different kind of fire. I love Jeremiah Wright. And like I said, my roots are from Georgia. My roots are from Tennessee. You understand? So I understand the black church intimately. I was in the black church when we originally moved to Altadena in August of 79. As a youngster, my mother quickly found a black church that was rife with drama, with corruption, with a cheating pastor that I knew about when I was 9. Do you understand me? This is part of our culture, but it shouldn't be. If people got to heal, so do the institutions that we go to. We can't sit there and say this institution gets to stay like this, and I'm going to heal myself, but I'm going to go into a toxic institution. Quickly, that pastor tried to holler at my mama. Made me an altar boy. I think I was the baddest altar boy there ever was. Pastor came to the house to pick up the white robe because he heard I wasn't doing good in school. Man, I was sitting in a tree with the white robe when he walked up. Give me that robe back. I just dropped it. It was an AME, African Methodist Episcopal. First AME. It was Brown Memorial on Orange Grove and Fair Oaks. Right next to the Church's Chicken. Both buildings are gone now. I've known about corruption in the church since I was a child. And I believe this incident with Marvin Sapp is a flashpoint, because oftentimes we ignore it, right? We'll just ignore. We'll act, oh, well, whatever. There's toxic people everywhere. The church is no better, and the church is better, or the church is better. No, it's not. I think the church could be even more damaging. The church, in my opinion, is like a covert narcissist. A covert narcissist knows how to mask and fake and pretend like they got feelings, know how to act, cognitive empathy. You know, they're not grandiose, they're not loud, they're subtle. And I believe those types of narcissists can hurt you worse than the one that is the loudest. You know, the loudest one in the room is a fool, crazy, something wrong. But it's that subtle one. You heard him say it about them the young kids. You know, it's the quiet ones that'll hurt you. Watch out for them. That loud one, he just a bully. All you got to do is stand up to him, but it's the quiet one. Sometimes it's the pristine one, and sometimes it's the so-called holy one that will hurt you the most. Sacred masochism. The church's covert cultivation of relational trauma bonds. If the church isn't melding and mixing with clinical psychologists, right, and integrating that, and many churches do, right, integrating that into their own practice as pastors, as well as providing that for parishioners, we got something that's imbalanced. Some churches is old school. You understand? Toxicity exists in our most sacred spaces. And many churches do exactly what narcissistic, toxic parents and lovers do. They hit you with intermittent reinforcement. Answered prayers as random dopamine hits to addicts that are now congregates to have a little bit of hope, breadcrumbing. I don't want spiritual breadcrumbing. And I don't want to be at a church that leads with the money. Spiritual capitalism. Spiritual breadcrumbing. I'm going to feel. Let me tell you something. The brother from Pittsburgh said it well. God is in you. God is a part of you. God has to be cultivated from within. Like everything else. Happiness, acknowledgement, approval, acceptance, joy, all the things that we've been taught to go somewhere to get. Listen, if you read the Gnostics, you are the church, that you are the temple. Sometimes we aggrandize the temple to be something that we're not. Listen, as always, I start the conversations. It's really up to you to finish them. The voice of reason gonna stay on your neck.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. The Supreme Court may soon rule on President Trump